last crescendo, a great night of World Championship Boxing to be held this Saturday from A&B Arena in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We would first like to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and His Excellency Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, Jia Turki Al Sheikh. This great event is being brought to you by Riyadh Season and the General Entertainment Authority, Jia, with Frank Warren for Queensberry Promotions, Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing, Bob Aram for Top Rank Incorporated, Gold Star Promotions, Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions, Boxer, World of Boxing, Warriors Boxing, and Sella. Along with their great sponsors, Saudi Tourism Authority, Saudi National Bank, STC, Dr. Suleiman El Habib Medical Group, Saudia Airlines, New Murabba Development Company, Tawuniya Hunger Station, Lucid Motors, and Al Tanfidi. A big thanks to those great sponsors. It will be shown worldwide and in the UK on DAZN and also in the UK on TNT Sports Box Office and Sky Sports Box Office. And now, boxing fans, let's get the grand arrivals started. Our first fighter competing Saturday in a scheduled 6-round welterweight contest. He is undefeated with 6 wins, 1 draw, 1 win, coming by way of knockout. He hails from right here, Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Here is Ziyad Almaayouf.
Well, here comes Ziyad Almaayouf, bit of a flag bearer for Saudi boxing. At the launch press conference a couple of months back, he gave an impassioned speech about how he wants to be the one who opens it up for all the other young Saudi boxers coming through. He said, "Never fear, Zizo is here."
He's great company, isn't he? He brings a really good vibe and energy to every room that he walks into, and he's good to watch. He's good to watch. There's plenty to be ironed out under Buddy McGirt. He loves to tear up a little bit too much, but what they do already know is that he has the minerals for this. This is definitely for him. He just needs to work on that technique, stay in that gym, hone it, finally tune it. And I think what Buddy will want to see is an incident-free performance, a dull performance from him for once.
Well, it's coming off a draw, actually, so that the first kind of blemish on his record appeared last time, so he'll be looking to get back to winning ways on Saturday night. He's got that infectious personality, and I think we're going to hear from him now as he joins Chris Mannix for a quick interview.
Well, Ziyad, welcome back to Saudi Arabia. A little bit chillier now than the last time we saw you here. How does it feel to be back?
You know, a superhero returns, and when I'm in Saudi Arabia, I just feel like I'm a superhero. I can't wait to put my cape on and rise up to that occasion, rise up to the pressure again and again and again Saturday night.
You took a draw your last time out here in Saudi Arabia. What did you learn from that experience?
Not what I liked to happen, but exactly what I needed to happen. And we only find that out later on. You know, our biggest problem is when we try to find solutions for something that happened today, a month later. But I learned that to trust the process, I needed that draw. I needed what I'm gonna pick up from it. And then we fix the problems and we go from there. But you will see a calmer, more composed Zizo, one that will represent the kingdom, one that will represent not only a city or a state, but a whole side of the world, in the Arab world, humbly and gratefully. And you know, it's all thanks to the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman, and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, for their vision in Vision 2030 that has inspired me and so many other like me, the youth and the talents, and also not the support of His Excellency Turki al-Sheikh, but his adoption, his complete adoption of me and supporting me and backing me, giving me the opportunity to shine and represent the kingdom.
Appreciate it, Zizo. Good luck this week.
Thank you, Chris.
Guys.
Our next two fighters will compete this Saturday in a scheduled 6-round super featherweight contest. We will first welcome a native of Chinandega, Nicaragua. He is now fighting out of Bratislava, Slovakia, and he is a veteran of 53 professional bouts. Let's welcome Angel El Cojete Gomez.
Well, here comes Angel Gomez, and one thing I particularly enjoy about these grand arrivals in fight week of a big Riyadh season show, journeymen, circuit fighters, they get their moment in the sun. He's got his own ring walk, Angel Gomez. He's never seen anything like this ever before. This is lovely stuff, Johnny.
Yes, of course. You know what an opportunity, what a platform to shine on as well. Just looks so young and naive. If you only knew what he was walking into.
He can fight though. I've seen him plenty. Nicaraguan fighter based in Europe now. There are lots of those over the last few years, and he can bring it, and he definitely will bring it on Saturday. No question about that. But they're the backbone of the sport, these fighters. So it's great to see them on these cards get a chance.
Well, he's been in with plenty of British fighters. Jermaine Lewayo, of course the nephew of Derek Chisora, Billy Boom Boom Adams, Cameron Vong, Royston Barney Smith, Zach Miller. He's certainly done the rounds and been in with plenty. And now he takes his little moment here. He'll be in action on Saturday night. Angel Gomez, great to see him. Let's head back over to Thomas Triber.
And now let's welcome undefeated with 2 victories. He hails from right here, Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Let's welcome mighty Mohammed Alakel.
Well, Mohammed Alakel has had a terrific start to his professional career. He's unbeaten so far, but it's more about where he's been able to fight. He made his pro debut on the undercard of the first fight between Beterbiev-Bivol. His second fight was on the undercard of Fury Usyk 2, and his third fight is on the greatest show of all time.
This is where you're seeing homegrown talent getting the opportunity to see what the big bright lights are about. And if you want to get, inspire other young homegrown talent to be in such a position, this is a platform to do it on. And I'm quite sure there's a lot of talent here, and this man here can lead the way.
He's been up in Champs Camp with Joe Gallagher, of course. They recently had Roberto Duran in that gym, so that's pretty good company to be getting a bit of advice.
It doesn't get much better than that, and there is talent here. There's talent everywhere. You just need to be able to unearth it, and with the investment in the Mike Tyson gym and the amateur program that they're creating here, there will be more fighters. We saw some on the midweek fight week last time out.
Mohammed, welcome back. What are you looking to show on Saturday night?
I've worked so hard for this, and I'm a very skillful performance, hopefully.
What kind of performance should we be looking for? How would you describe yourself as a fighter to people who haven't seen you yet?
I'm just going to outbox him and, just outbox him.
Tremendous card that you're on here, deep from top to bottom. How does it feel to be part of a card like this?
Yeah, I'm thankful and grateful. Everyone that made this possible, especially His Excellency, and I'm very honored.
Appreciate it, Mohammed. Good luck.
Thank you.
Our next 2 fighters competing this Saturday in a scheduled 12-round contest, and it will be for the WBO Interim Light Heavyweight Championship of the World. We will first welcome the challenger from Liverpool, England. He has a professional record consisting of 30 wins, 2 defeats, 22 of those 30 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the former Ring Magazine champion and former WBA super middleweight champion of the world, Callum Mundo Smith.
Well, his resume speaks for itself. His credentials speak for themselves. He's a former Ring Magazine World Super Middleweight Champion, won that Muhammad Ali trophy as well, ventured up to light heavyweight, and only 2 men have ever defeated him in his career, Canelo Alvarez at super middle and Artur Beterbiev at light heavyweight. He is an elite fighter and he is dreaming of becoming a 2-weight world champion.
Now you hear that announcement, this is what I'm talking about. You listen to those credentials and you've got to understand how big a deal this fight is. This guy is world class. This guy is world talent. So that means we're saying he beats 98% of the fighters in the world thus far. So now this shows you the gravitas of this fight with him and Joshua Buatsi.
Oh, absolutely that. It's one that's really got fight fans talking. WBO Interim Light Heavyweight Championship on the line. The winner joins that queue for Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. It's an elite fight at the very top of the light heavyweight division. Chris Mannix is making his way over. Let's get a word from Mundo.
Well, Callum, you shook the rust off in that last fight, right back into a big one this Saturday. How are you feeling about this fight?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. It's a fight I like. It's a big opportunity for myself to put myself closer to where I want to be, and that's a 2-weight world champion.
Came up short against Artur Beterbiev last year, but what did you learn from an experience like that?
I think you just learn from all your fights, and I think losing kind of magnifies areas where you need to improve that a little bit more. And I come away from it, assessed it, looked at reasons why I came up short, and I feel I've improved in certain areas, and I'm a better fighter because of it.
Been a very respectful promotion so far between you and Josh Buatsi. But what is this fight going to look like on Saturday?
I think it'll be a good fight. I think stylistically we should gel pretty well. It's not personal. I've got a job to do. He's got something I want. He's got an interim world title that puts me closer to where I want to be. So I say I'll go in there this weekend, do the job, and I believe I'll come out on top.
Do you like these domestic fights a little bit better, give it a little extra juice?
Yeah, they're good. It obviously gets the public's imagination that little bit more with it, both being from the same country. But regardless of who it is, it's not the opponent. It's what he's got and where I want to be. So yeah, it's a big opportunity for myself.
Appreciate it, Callum. Good luck.
Thank you.
And now let's welcome the defending champion from London, England, a 2016 Olympic bronze medalist, now undefeated as a professional with 19 wins, 13 of those 19 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the reigning and defending WBO interim light heavyweight champion of the world, Joshua Buatsi.
Well, here comes the unbeaten Joshua Buatsi. He is the defending WBO interim light heavyweight champion. He was asked to bring that belt to the launch press conference. He said, "Why do I want to bring the interim belt when the real ones will be behind me?" Didn't want to bring that belt, wants to win the big one.
Wants to win the big one, and he knows he's a fighter that's got something to prove. He's a fighter that there's been so much shouted from the rooftops about his potential and the fighter he should be. The fighter he should be at this point in his career. So this now is his opportunity to prove, look, I'm proving to you, I belong up there. I belong to be a world champion. I'm going to fulfill all the wishes that everybody thought I could do. And this is that fight. He's got to show us something. Callum's already shown us what he's about.
Well, he's been involved in what feels like eliminator after eliminator after eliminator, but a big win on Saturday night as he looks behind him, as he sees his name up in lights. A win on Saturday night takes him closer to becoming a full world champion. Let's hear from Joshua Buatsi with Chris Mannix.
Well, Josh, you've been looking for a big fight for a long time. This feels like a pretty big one. How are you feeling going into Saturday?
Feeling good, man. Happy to be fighting in Saudi Arabia, and a lot's on the line, so I'm looking forward to it.
You've been coming up the ranks with Callum over the years. Did it ever occur to you over that time that, hey, this might be a guy that I'll fight someday?
Only when the contract was signed, yeah.
What do you think this fight's going to look like?
One that I win. However it looks, I'll come on top.
I was asking Callum, you know, you guys have been very respectful of each other over the course of the last couple of months, but what is the fight going to look like in the ring? How good stylistically do you think this fight is?
Yeah, it's a style that should gel. Whatever style I have to provide to win, that's what I'm going to do.
You think this puts you one step closer to that full world title?
It definitely should, 100%.
Good luck, Josh.
Thank you.
Well, he's just business, Joshua Buatsi, and Callum Smith is also just business. Both not really giving away much. There's been a lot of respect in the build-up here, but when that first bell rings, I'm expecting carnage, Johnny.
I think their styles will fit like the perfectly fitting shoes. These guys, well, the distance will be there, the styles will gel perfectly, and that's why I think if you understand the sport of boxing, it will be one of those technical matches that can set a fire in a heartbeat because of their styles.
Why has it taken so long for Joshua Buatsi to become a world champion? And he's not there yet. He's getting closer and closer. But his contemporaries from around the 2016 team, Akoli, he's done it. Cordina, he's done it. Buatsi hasn't got there yet.
It's been a combination of things, and it will have been frustrating for him because he took his time turning pro, for one. He had a degree to finish. He had funding still with the English Institute of Sport, with the GB squad. So he turned pro about a year after Rio, so that was one reason. I think he boxed pretty regularly to start with, but he's had periods where he hasn't been able to get the fights that he wanted to have. He's had these two guys, Beterbiev and Bivol, dominating the division. He had a promotional dispute which kept him out for a while. Then when he came back, he wanted to go back in kind of softly. I wasn't too keen on that myself. I thought we needed to see a bit more from him against Pavel Stepien, for example, but he's where he is now. And Aziz and then Hutchinson and now this, it will put him in the place that he wants to be in. So it's happening at the right time for him. It needed to happen now, but it is happening now. He's still undefeated. He still absolutely believes in himself. He's very polite, Josh, but he's laser focused, as is the man about to join us now.
Well, we're going to speak to Callum Smith, who is coming in for a quick chat.
Okay.
He's okay.
Getting close right here.
How are you, Callum?
Good to meet you.
Very good. Listen, all the talk has been, this has all been very, very respectful, but I just said to Johnny, yeah, it's all nice. When that first bell rings, this will be carnage, right?
Yeah, I think throughout my career, and I think Josh probably similar. I've never been one to need any bad blood to get in and do my job. I've always been quite good at switching on, and I'm very laid back and quiet outside the ring, but I can be pretty spiteful when I get in there, and I don't need to dislike my opponent in order to do that. So I've got a lot of respect for Josh. I rate him as a fighter. I think he's a good fighter, but I just believe I'm better, and we'll see Saturday night.
Is he someone you've had an eye on for a while, knowing that you know you're going to go up to light heavy eventually at some point? His career's been there.
Yeah, but not really, to be honest with you, because when I moved up to light heavyweight, he was still early on in his career, and as a former world champion, I was looking at the world champions, and he wasn't quite there yet, and the only way our paths were going to cross was if I was to lose, and I didn't really like the idea of losing, but I did. I lost, and in the meantime he's won interim world title, so he's now got something that I need. So boxing swings and things happen, but yeah, he was never really in my sight. I always felt like he was behind me, but now he's slightly ahead of me, and I need him now to push on and get closer to where I want to be.
So we've got two technically good fighters here, as we know, and pretty well matched, I would say, in terms of skill level. I was just speculating before you came up and kind of hoping, because it's great for us to watch, it'll be tough for you to be in it, that this could come down to who has got the stronger will down the stretch, just something as basic as that, because when you've got a well-matched fight, that's often what it is.
Yeah, I think it is a well-matched fight. I think the fact that, as you said, we haven't badmouthed each other, we haven't constantly called each other out, and yet it's landed on this show, shows that it's a good, evenly matched fight that people want to see. And stylistically, I don't think either of us are spoilers or awkward. I think we should gel pretty well, and it should be an exciting one for you, maybe not as exciting for us to have it in there, but I just think however way the fight pans out, I believe I've got the answers to come out on top.
Best of luck to you, Callum Smith.
Thank you very much.
Let's head back over to Thomas Tribe.
Championship of the world. We will first welcome, coming to us from Bochum, Germany. He brings an undefeated record with 25 wins, 17 of those 25 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the undefeated former two-time EBU European champion and the #1 ranked contender by the WBC. Here is Agit Kabayel.
Well, here comes one of the real success stories of Riyadh season. Agit Kabayel has had a couple of real breakout fights here against monsters. He took on Makhmudov, the man who twitches whenever he gets hit, and he took him out with body shots. He took on Frank Sanchez, unbeaten, and he took him out with body shots. There is a feeling that he will approach Zhilei Zhang, another monster, on Saturday with some big body shots.
He's a really good story, Agit, as well, because he was drifting. His career was absolutely drifting. He won the European title in 2017, beating Derek Chisora, and then just couldn't get the fights he wanted. Won it again in 2023, and he would have been wondering if he was ever going to get his chance. So I asked him yesterday, were the times where he felt like quitting? Because boxing had kind of disappeared in Germany at that point as a major TV force. It just wasn't the sport in the mainstream public that it had been in years gone by, and he said, no, of course not, but I bet there were. I bet there were days where he just thought, look, this isn't going to happen. I'm going to have to go and do something else.
Well, he's a super humble guy. I'm not expecting any trash talk. Let's hear from him.
Well, Agit, we have not seen you back here since you beat Frank Sanchez last May. How does it feel to be back in Riyadh and back in the ring?
Yeah, I'm happy that I'm here, you know. I'm ready for the next challenge. Let's go.
Your next challenge is a pretty big one. Zhilei Zhang, a big man, a southpaw, a big punch. What do you have to do to beat him?
Yeah, we'll see on Saturday, you know. We have a good game plan for him. On Saturday we will see. And yeah, let's go.
You've been the underdog or close to the underdog in your last couple of fights, probably the underdog again coming to this one. Do you like being the underdog?
Yes, of course, I like it. We see on Saturday the underdog shocks the world again.
Interim title on the line for this fight, but does that mean something to you?
It's a small title, you know, small world title, but after the small white title, maybe come the big world title.
Good luck, Agit.
Thank you.
And now let's welcome, fighting out of Bloomfield, New Jersey, USA, by way of Shenzhou, China, a 2008 Olympic silver medalist, now has a professional record consisting of 27 wins, 2 defeats, 1 draw, 22 of those 27 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the former WBO interim world champion and the #2 ranked contender by the WBC. Here is Zhilei Big Bang Zhang.
Well, here comes Big Bang Zhilei Zhang, one of the heaviest-handed heavyweights out there right now. 41 years old, but he doesn't seem to be slowing down. Still does everything he could do 10 years ago. And he was asked, give us 3 reasons why you beat Agit Kabayel on Saturday night. His 3 words: bang, bang, bang.
Totally agree. That southpaw style. When you see these two stood next to each other, it'd be like man and boy, size-wise. And this man will take his time, work at his pace, and slowly but surely, the hare and tortoise, they catch up to each other, and that's what it's going to matter. He'll catch up to him eventually. That's the style. He's on a roll. Should work.
He's a clever fighter as well. He's got underrated IQ, former Olympic medalist as well, Andy.
Exactly. They don't give those away on street corners. He's a very accomplished fighter. Stylistically, he might find this tough though because he's always punching down, or almost always, but he's going to be punching quite a long way down against Kabayel, who's really good at getting onto the inside and punching in combination. So I expect this to be a bit of an odd couple in terms of a matchup, but I think it will gel well.
Well, let's hear from the Big Bang.
Well, Zhilei, first, is that your own personal theme song?
这是你自己的主题歌吗？
Yeah. I ban you.
I got that one. Last time you were here, you scored a knockout win over Deontay Wilder. How big was that win for you?
上次 KO 维尔德对你来说意义重大吗？
意义重大，代表着我又重新回归。从3月份输给帕克之后，然后6月份又击倒威尔德， Big Bang 又回来了。
It means a lot. After the Joseph Parker lost, it means that I'm coming back. Big Bang is here.
You got a very different opponent in front of you on Saturday. Kabayel, more of a mover than a puncher. What do you have to do to beat him?
卡巴耶尔可不一样了，跟维尔德，他是移动型的、灵活型的。你需要做什么准备呢？
不需要做什么，不需要做什么，他用什么战术，我用什么战术克制他。
Whatever he brings to the table, I have an answer for him.
At 41 years old, you still feel like you have a lot left in the tank?
41岁了，感觉还能打多久呢
？I don't know. 直到我打不动为止。现在我很年轻，状态一切都非常好。
I don't know how far I can go, but as of right now, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling very young.
Good luck, Zhilei.
Thank you.
I'm you. Bang, put a real stupid man. Bang, better know I'm a money man. Bang, can't chat to me man. Bang, and when I re-rig man talk bang. Why these I'm the man? Bang, yeah, them know I'm the man. Bang, know that I'm old man. Yes, who's hot on microphone stand.
Our next two fighters competing this Saturday in a scheduled 12-round contest, and it will be for the WBC Interim Super Welterweight Championship of the World. We will first welcome the challenger from Khiva, Uzbekistan, a stellar amateur with over 300 victories. He now has a professional record of 10 wins, just 1 defeat, 1 draw, 7 of those 10 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the former WBA Super Welterweight Champion of the World, Israil the Dream Madrimov.
Well, here comes Israil Madrimov, and for the first time he is having to bounce back from a defeat. Lost to Terence Crawford last time out. It was a nip and tuck kind of fight, wasn't an awful lot in it, and now he goes in against Vergil Ortiz, a young, hungry lion who'll be looking to take his head off.
Absolutely. That's what he has on the cards here. It was a good performance against Crawford. He gave him a really rough ride. And then we thought we'd see him in December against Serhii Bohachuk, even though this fight with Ortiz had also already been made, which was a bit of a mad scenario, to be honest. In the end, we didn't see him in December, which was the correct thing to do, because this is it's another mouth-watering matchup, this. I've seen Madrimov a lot since the amateurs. I remember seeing him for the first time in the World Championships in 2017, and you knew immediately that you really had something on your hands. And I just wonder whether he'll be quite a lot bigger on the night, because he does fill out. He will fill out after the weigh-in.
Well, here's a special talent, calls himself the Dream. Let's find out if he'll be a nightmare for Vergil Ortiz on Saturday. Let's hear from Israil Madrimov.
Well, Israil, welcome back. Last time we saw you in Los Angeles, you lost a very competitive fight against Terence Crawford. What did you learn from that experience?
Последний раз мы тебя видели в Лос-Анджелесе в очень конкурентном бою с Теренсом Кроуфордом. Чему ты научился в этом бою?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm happy to be here because here my second home is here. Muslim brothers, very comfortable here. After Crawford, I learned more experience, and then I want this fight is better show for everybody.
Got a young, tough opponent, Vergil Ortiz, in front of you on Saturday. What kind of fight are you expecting?
Против тебя будет молодой, очень агрессивный боец.
Что нам ожидать в субботу? Какого вида боя?
Yeah, it's top fighter because we are going this challenge, you know, after Crawford, big challenge. I have the plan, inshallah, for Saturday. Inshallah, show plan when in the ring.
You lost that title to Crawford, your world title. How important is it for you to get a world title back?
Ты потерял свой титул в бою с Кроуфордом. Насколько важно для тебя вернуть снова титул чемпиона мира?
Конечно, это важно. Ну, я думаю, я достойно бой проводил против Кроуфорда, и много болельщиков знал про меня.
Well, I think, yeah, it's important to get the title again for me, but at the same time, you know, I show myself with the Crawford fight, and many fans knows about me after that, so maybe it's also important for me.
Good luck, Israil.
Thank you so much.
I'll tell you what, this fight is an absolute cracker. Vergil Ortiz and Israil Madrimov. For me, Vergil Ortiz, he's like today's Miguel Cotto. Is anyone else with me?
And now let's welcome
He's a really good fighter, no question about that.
From Grand Prairie, Texas, USA, he is undefeated with 22 wins. 21 of those 22 wins come by way of knockout. Here is the reigning and defending WBC interim super welterweight champion of the world, Vergil Ortiz Jr.
Well, Vergil Ortiz, one of the most entertaining TV fighters, fan-friendly fighters out there at the moment. Fight number 23 for him, coming off a brilliant Fight of the Year contender with Sergey Boachuk. That was a cracker, wasn't it? If we get half the entertainment we got in that fight, we're in for something special.
We are, and it was actually a really important fight for him too, because he looked like welterweight was going to be his weight. Then he encountered all sorts of problems making weight. He's got a condition called rhabdomyolysis, which causes the body to kind of turn on its own musculature. It attacks the muscle cells. It was a hell of a thing to have to try and combat. So he moved up to super welter, had 2 first-round blowouts, a strange early stoppage by Tony Weeks, and then a body shot win, and then 12 really hard rounds against Sergey Boachuk. He touched down a couple of times. He wasn't knocked down, he touched down, but despite that, he won that fight. You know, it was a clear win, but he really needed that bit of seasoning at super welter to go into a fight like this.
And also, just like Artur Beterbiev, he heads into a fight for the first time having not knocked out his last opponent. He had knocked out absolutely everyone on his CV, and now he knows people are mortal when they meet his power. Let's hear from Vergil Ortiz.
Well, Vergil, you've been waiting for a big opportunity, a big fight. You're finally getting one here on Saturday. How are you feeling going into this week?
I'm very motivated. I'm very excited to be out here in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. You know, it's a blessing to be out here, the blessing to be on the biggest card of all time, and I'm ready to put on a good show.
You said you're very motivated. What's behind that motivation?
You know, well, first title defense against a very good opponent, and you know, it doesn't get better than that.
Got a few fights now at this weight class, 154. Has that made a difference? Do you feel settled at this weight?
I feel good. I feel really good at this weight class, and you know, I'm willing to stay here for a long time. If an opportunity comes up at 160, we'll take it too. But you know, we'll just see what the future holds.
You know, it's a great fight. Could it be a main event anywhere else, of course, and you're part of a big, big card here on Saturday. What does it mean to you to kind of be part of this kind of card?
It means a lot. You know, I feel honored to have been chosen to display my skills, you know, here in Riyadh, you know, across the world, you know, and it's, you know, it's just, it's indescribable, honestly.
You got Madrimov in front of you. He had a competitive fight against Terence Crawford last time out. When you watch that fight, do you see things that you can exploit in his game?
I mean, yeah, me and Crawford are obviously different fighters, you know, so different approaches means different chinks in the armor, but, you know, we always find a way.
You always find a way to make it physical out there, too.
You already know.
Good luck, Vergil.
Thank you.
Well, there's a feeling there's kind of 7 main events on Saturday night. That's definitely one of them. Ortiz Madrimov. What a fight, Johnny.
That's one of the fights that's also going to go the distance. This has got, you know, toe-to-toe action written all over it. I think both fighters, Madrimov is a good fighter, but Ortiz, young, hungry, and I'd probably tip him to have a bit more variety about it, and that's why I tip him to pull this fight off.
He's been involved in some very entertaining fights. The Boachok fight was an absolute cracker, a nominee for Fight of the Year. There was a fight with Mean Machine Agit Kabayel. Easy for me to say, Andy. Let's head back to Thomas Triber.
Fighters competing this Saturday in a scheduled 12-round contest, and it will be for the WBC Middleweight Championship of the World. Let's first welcome the challenger from Ilford, Essex, England. He brings an undefeated record with 21 wins, 17 of those 21 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the undefeated former EBU European, Commonwealth, and WBC silver champion, and the #1 ranked contender by the WBC. Here is Hamzah Sheeraz.
Well, here comes Hamzah Sheeraz, oozing star power. He has done for a little while now. He's on a streak of 15 consecutive knockouts. If he gets number 16 on Saturday night, he will realise a childhood dream and become the world middleweight champion.
And for him, it doesn't get any bigger than that. It really doesn't. He's been moved well. You look at that win against Austin Williams, that was a big win because he had his knees dipped early in that fight, came through, stopped him late, so he carries that power late. That's good to see. Then he took care of Tyler Denny to win the European title comfortably on a massive platform at Wembley. Adames is a venture into deeper waters still, and he's going to have to produce a career best performance, but that's how it should be if you're going to win a world title. That is how it should be.
He definitely carries the power late. He also carries himself so well. A model professional, Frank Warren has described him as a modern representation of modern Britain. Let's hear from Hamzah Sheeraz.
Well, Hamzah, you've been calling for this opportunity, for this world title shot. You finally get it. How are you feeling going into this fight?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, I'm feeling blessed. I can only thank His Excellency, I can only thank Frank Warren, Spencer Brown, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
There were a few other champions that were out there, at least a couple other champions that were out there. Why was this the right fight for you?
Because after the Amma Williams fight, I was #1 contender for the belt, so it only made sense.
Carlos Adames has a lot of experience. What do you need to do to beat him on Saturday?
Just do what I do. Do what I do, stay disciplined, stay focused, and just enjoy myself, really.
I know you want to win, get your hands on that title, but how important is it to you to put on a show on a stage like this?
Yeah, massively, massively. Listen, Riyadh season, what His Excellency is doing for the sport, it's our duty to entertain. So, yeah, hopefully Saturday night I'll put on a great performance.
Good luck, Hamzah.
Thank you.
Go job and do time for my brother, cause that's my brother. I'll go to war for my brother. I'll light up the block for my brother. Be wrong and strong for my brother, cause that's my brother. That's my brother. My family, my brother, my geezer, my...
And now let's welcome the defending champion from Elias Piña in la República Dominicana. He has a professional record of 24 wins, just 1 defeat. 18 of those 24 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the reigning and defending WBC middleweight champion of the world, Carlos El Caballo Bronco Adames.
Well, he is the reigning and defending WBC world middleweight champion. His campaign through the weight started off at welter, moved up to super welter, and very much established now at middleweight. Second defense of his crown on Saturday night, and there's a certain meanness about Carlos Adames.
There is. He means business. He absolutely does. And in the end, he got elevated to full champion after winning that interim belt due to an unfortunate situation that Jamal Charlo brought upon himself, and he wants to hang on to this belt. It's as simple as that. He knows about Sheeraz, he knows that he's an ambassador for Riyadh season and all of that he's a bit of a chosen one, but he doesn't care about that. He had a big amateur career, 273-7, that's a lot of fights and a lot of success. Training with Ismail Salas out of Las Vegas, he's seasoned in those American gyms, and like I said, he sees Hamzah Sheeraz as a great British hype job and somebody he's going to expose and lay bare in the four corners of truth on Saturday. That's what he's thinking.
Well, he looks happy. He looked pretty mean earlier in the week. Looks perfectly at home on that big stage. Let's hear what Carlos Adames has to say. Let's see if it sounds as mean as what Andy Clark just said.
Well, Carlos, your first Riyadh season experience, how has it been going for you out here?
Tu primera experiencia en Riyadh season, ¿cómo te ha ido?
Bueno, mi primera experiencia, primeramente me da las gracias a todas estas personas que nos dan cita hoy. Me siento muy contento y agradecido que Dios me trajo con mucha bendición y mucha salud aquí. Estoy feliz de estar aquí y más de brindar un gran espectáculo.
I want to thank all the people here for coming to see me. I want to thank God. I feel very happy here, very content. I'm ready to make a great fight on Saturday.
When you got the call to face Hamzah Sheeraz, what was your initial reaction?
Cuando te llamaron para pelear con Hamzah Sheeraz, ¿cuál fue tu primera reacción?
Presentía que iba a ser mi siguiente víctima. Siento que ellos piensan que puede ganarme, pero como sé yo que no es así, sabía que me iban a llamar para esto.
Since before they even called me, I thought it was going to be my next victim. And I feel like they think that they can beat me, but they can't.
You say your next victim, you're pretty confident that you can be the first guy to hand this guy a loss.
Tú dices tu primera víctima, se ve que tú eres muy confiado, que tienes la confianza para poder ganarle a este hombre.
Soy el mejor 160 que han podido ver en la actualidad.
I am the best current 160.
What do you have to do to beat him on Saturday?
¿Qué tú tienes que hacer para ganarle el sábado?
Solo quitarle la cabeza.
I only had to decapitate him.
Good luck, Carlos.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it will be a battle of the undefeated 12 rounds scheduled for the WBC Lightweight Championship of the World. It will be the challenger, Floyd Kid Austin Schofield, challenging the defending champion from Brick City, Newark, New Jersey, USA, a 2016 Olympic silver medalist, now undefeated as a professional with 22 wins. 10 of his 22 wins coming by way of knockout. He is a three-weight world champion and the reigning and defending WBC lightweight champion of the world. Here is Shakur Stevenson.
Well, Shakur Stevenson, generally regarded as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world today, is a three-weight world champion, and he's got the task of taking on a younger man this time, a hungry guy this time. It's not him facing the older guy trying to dethrone. He's got someone coming after him, Johnny.
He has. Stevenson's coming with quite an entourage that down below us here and walking in behind. This guy's come to put on a show. And again, everybody's going to try and steal the show on Saturday night. I do believe this man has the ability to do that.
He's certainly got all the ability. Olympic silver medalist as well, and he's done it all, really.
He has, and he's somebody who does things his way on his terms. He's a breed of the new generation of fighter, if you like, who knows their worth and is determined to make sure they secure it for each and every fight. He works with people, not for people. It's that kind of blueprint that Mayweather set out that the likes of him and Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis have looked to follow. I do think we really need to see something from him, though.
All over the U.S. Now you get your first fight here in Saudi Arabia. How are you feeling about this experience?
I'm ready. I'm ready to capture the moment. I'm focused. I put in a great training camp, and it's my time.
Last year was a tough year for you, just one fight, had the hand injury. How eager are you to get your career back on track?
I'm ready to show the world that I'm a superstar. I think I'm one of the best fighters in the sport of boxing. The world will know February 22nd.
What do you think people can expect on Saturday?
You said what?
What do you think people can expect on Saturday?
They can expect the best fighter to show out. That's what I'm going to do.
Good luck, Shakur.
Got you.
Tell you what, he's got a bit of swag, hasn't he, Johnny?
Class written all over him. Class.
Big fight on Saturday night, defends his WBC World Lightweight Championship against Floyd Schofield. Now, Floyd Schofield, listen, not a lot of people call out Shakur Stevenson. It just doesn't happen. Floyd Schofield, he put his hand up. People probably telling him, no, put your hand down. You don't need this fight yet. He kept it up. He gets the fight he wanted.
And it's good to see, because we did think it was going to be William Zepeda, didn't we? Then he had that fight with Tevin Farmer and people called for the rematch, and the rematch is happening. And Schofield all the time, like you say, was in the back there just saying, hang on, I'm over here. And he's got what he wanted. Be careful what you wish for, some people might say, but he's confident. He's confident he could cause problems. But Shakur Stevenson 100% believes that he's the best fighter on this card, bar none. He thinks he's the best fighter in the world.
Well, of those 7 fights, this is probably the one that isn't so much a 50-50. On paper, certainly, Shakur Stevenson, 3-weight world champion. Floyd Schofield hasn't been near this level yet.
Without a doubt, and I think we'll have a chance to see with our very own eyes how good Stevenson is. You know, I've watched many of his fights. His skill artillery is second to none, and he's not even shown us half of it. I'm massively right.
Do you know, it's a weird thing where he's become a 3-weight world champion. He's 27 years old. You feel like, but if he retired now, it would be a huge letdown. That would be enough for most people. 3-weight world champion.
Yeah, that says it all, really, that we still feel like we need to see more, even though he's achieved what he's achieved. And he unified as super feather. He stopped Jamel Herring, a strong champion, unified against Oscar Valdez, and still we're kind of left there thinking, come on, let's see a bit more.
Well, let's head over to Thomas Treiber. Business is about to pick up.
Main event this Saturday, scheduled for 12 rounds. It will be for the IBF Heavyweight Championship of the world. Let's first welcome the challenger. From South Auckland, New Zealand, he has a professional record of 35 wins, 3 defeats, 23 of those 35 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the former WBO heavyweight champion of the world, Lupe Soliai La'auli Ale Maliatoa, a.k.a. Joseph Parker.
Well, here comes Joseph Parker. I'm just going to call him Joseph Parker. Fair play, Thomas Treiber, for committing to the full kind of tribal name. But here he is, and he looks calm, he looks cool. He is on a streak of 5 wins in a row. And if he makes it 6 on Saturday night, he will walk away as a 2-time world heavyweight champion.
It comes out to this song quite a bit. Roy Jones Can't Be Touched. I absolutely love it. And Andy Lee on his shoulder there. And they're such a tight team now. They've been working together for a while. But we've seen him grow during Riyadh season. He demolished Simon Keane, then he defused the bronze bomber in Deontay Wilder, and then did the same thing to Zhilei Zhang. Again, people are talking about him being an underdog, but he's a very experienced fighter. He's a clever fighter. And he's in this second phase of his career where he's totally comfortable in his own skin and with how he wants to go about things. He feels he's bigger, stronger, better, badder than he's ever been. And it's hard to argue with that. And he's enjoying it, isn't he?
He's loving it. Absolutely loving it up there, Joe Parker. He is an entertainer. Just go and follow his social media. Go and look at his call-out videos, especially the one of Dillian White. He did a bit of Take That. An unbelievable entertainer. Let's hear from him.
Joe, you certainly got some good energy coming into this fight. How are you feeling going into it?
As you can see, I'm happy, I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to Saturday.
You know, you've had a real turnaround over the last couple of years since that loss to Joe Joyce. What are the biggest differences in you since that defeat?
Listening to Andy, listening to George, and applying what I've been learning in camp and in training in the ring. And it's pretty simple. Go out there, believe in yourself. I have confidence, and I'm going to prove to everyone that you can always come back from a loss.
You've been a world champion before. What would it mean to you to be a two-time heavyweight champion?
It'll be so special. I think champion of the world, Frank will be there, Spencer will be there, we'll all be there celebrating.
You're fighting a guy that has a lot of momentum too, in Daniel Dubois. What do you have to do to win this fight?
I have to be me. I have to focus on me, go out there, execute this game plan that Andy Lee has put in place, and become champion of the world.
Good luck, Joe.
Thank you very much.
And now let's welcome the defending champion from Greenwich, London, England. His professional record consists of 22 wins, just 1 defeat. 21 of his 22 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the hard-hitting, reigning, and defending IBF heavyweight champion of the world, Triple D, Daniel Dynamite Dubois.
Well, here comes Triple D, Daniel Dynamite Dubois, who alongside Alexander Usyk really is the form heavyweight in the world today. He is on one amazing run. Since that loss to Usyk, he took on Big Baby Miller, who was unbeaten. He took him out. He took on Hrgović, who was unbeaten. He took him out. He took on Anthony Joshua at Wembley Stadium, and he took him out.
You know what, this young man, you see him growing in front of our very own eyes. Josie Parker said the right thing. He's got to do what he does. He's got to box his fight. If he boxes this young man's fight, it's the worst thing he can do. He's walking in with a bounce, walking in with unbelievable confidence. Look at the size of him. He's just a fighting machine. That's who he is. You've got to stop this man in his path, but you've got to use your own style to do it.
Well, it's going to take an awful lot to stop Daniel Dubois right now, coming off that brilliant win at Wembley Stadium. Really, that could be the top of anyone's career. 96,000 people against AJ, and he was a man possessed, a man on a mission that night. If he is on a similar mission on Saturday, he'll regain his bite.
Daniel, Joe had a lot of confidence as he stood on the stage right here. What's your confidence level right now coming into this fight?
You know, I'm flying. I feel really confident, ready to go now, ready to, talking's done, let's go to work.
You've been on a roll as of late, from the Jarrell Miller win all the way up to the win over AJ that secured you that heavyweight title. What are the biggest differences in you over these last few fights?
I don't know, man. It's just the support behind me, my dad, my team, Frank Warren and all of that, just supporting me and just having an ambition and goals, and we haven't stopped, we haven't given up, and we're here now.
Joe's been on a roll of late too. He's picked up some big wins over the last couple of years. What kind of fight are you expecting from him?
I'm expecting just war. I'm ready to fight. You know, whatever happens, I'm ready to go through him and, put him to sleep. Go for the next one. I'm hungry.
You got a lot of knockouts over a lot of good guys over the last year or so. You think you can knock Joseph Parker out?
I'm not making no predictions, but I'm ready to fight.
Good luck, Daniel.
Thank you.
I love that. Daniel Dubois said at one point, I'm going to put him to sleep, and then said, I'm not going to make any predictions. That sounded like a prediction in there to me.
It did. It did. Yes, that sounded very much like he thinks he's going to knock Joseph Parker out. As he said there, he's ready to fight. I get the feeling that he's ready to fight all of the time, that he can flick that switch whenever he wants, because you talk about staying ready. I don't think that kid has been out of shape a day in his life. You think about the training regime that Stan, the father, has. I mean, he's wanted to do it, but has put him through since he was a young boy, and this is all he's ever really known. And now that he's found his self-belief, Johnny, and he knows that he can do it, he has done it, he's so dangerous, because that's all that was really missing.
You can tell how he's walking, how he's talking, how he's got a bounce in his step. Again, his career's moving in the right direction. This young man, he's the boy's turned into a man. He's grown up all of a sudden. And yeah, he says he's not making any predictions, but you just know what he's capable. Once somebody believes in themselves, once they get rid of all the naysayers and they stay focused on it, once you believe in yourself, nobody can break that spirit. And I see the spirit in him right there.
It's an unbelievable spirit. It looks like an unbreakable spirit. A couple of things. He was asked, Daniel, what are like your hobbies outside of boxing? What'd you get up to? He just said, I'm just a boxer. I just like boxing. He was asked, what's your favourite movie? What could you watch over and over again? He said, I can't think of any. All he cares about is fighting.
You know what? His first love is fighting, boxing. So the problem will be when he meets somebody. So how can he handle that? He's a young man. Yeah. So that's going to problem. So as long as that's his first love and he keeps that tight circle around him and keeps that focus, he'll do well.
He's got this team now with Don Charles. They seem to have found something. They didn't have much time to prepare for Usyk. That was their first fight together. Still had success in that fight. But this relationship, it's quite brilliant.
It works, and he talks a lot about his dad and how he needs his dad, and I don't think it's a coincidence that he's ended up with a trainer who's about the same age, because he'll get that similar kind of vibe from him. It'll be that respect that you have for somebody that bit older. I think that's the sort of relationship he needs to have with his trainer. I think it just kind of works for him. And Don is really, really experienced. And I just remember that fight in Poland against Usyk where he went down and he looked like he was going to stay down, and he got back up and he went back to the corner, and Don just said to him, I saw that, don't do that, don't do it. And I know in the next round he went down and he did stay out on the knee, but that for me was progress, and it showed that bravery can be improved upon. It can be taught to an extent. People talk about things you either have or you don't have in sport, and they'll say that guts and all that stuff is one of them. I've never believed that. I think that you can improve on it, and Don has got himself to believe that when it gets hard, you can get through it.
Yeah, it's not bravery, it's belief. Believing that you've got something more to give. And then the easiest thing to do is give up. The easiest thing to look on the dark side. The hardest thing is actually to have the courage to say, I can actually do this. You know, and that's just all. That's what it is.
Well, Joe Parker says he's going to break his heart. He says that when he gets too much pressure, he'll revert to type. He's basically saying he's going to make Daniel Dubois quit in there. Where are we on this?
Joseph Parker's got to say anything and everything to try and get inside that head of Daniel Dubois, because you can't call it class. If you can get inside his head, you've got him. I think it just bounces off. I think Daniel Dubois has been through enough in his career to actually think, no matter what anybody says, you know, it's not going to happen. Can you imagine all the people, all of us, that expected Anthony Joshua to do a job on him? So you've got to be mentally strong enough to ignore that kind of talk, and that's what he's doing now. Both guys are stood there now with all the press side by side. There's no bad blood. There's no dislike, there's no disdain between them because they just want to fight. Joseph Parker is a nice guy, he's a cool guy. You know what? Danny Dubois just wants to fight. He doesn't have to dislike you, he just wants to knock you out.
Yeah, I think we saw that nice guy element when they did that sit-down face-off, and they ended up just saying, shut up. No, you shut up. No, you shut up. It's not the most intense face-off that I've seen. I saw something today that Ring Magazine did with them as well, where they didn't really say much to each other. I think Joe said, what's up, Dan? And Dan just sort of ignored him as well. They're just here to fight.
They are, and Parker will come with a plan. As we said, he's an intelligent fighter. They're a good combination, him and Andy Lee. And that fight against Wilder, let's not forget that when he took that fight, we thought that Wilder was still the danger man that he has always been, and people thought that he was going to knock Joseph Parker out. Let's not kind of be revisionist about it. That's what people thought would happen, and he got the job done. He was either all the way out or all the way in. He was safe either way, and he launched those big overhand rights, and Wilder couldn't do a thing with him. And then against Zhang, he got put down twice, but he still went on to win the fight, and he did win the fight. And that's some effort when you've lost a couple of rounds 10-8 at that kind of level. So he absolutely believes in himself. And this second phase of his career is different. He's doing things slightly differently. He knows his own body a bit better now. That relationship with Andy's an interesting one, because he went from Kevin Barry, who was more that kind of father type figure, to an older brother in Andy. And it's interesting what different fighters need as they get older from that relationship. You always had the same guy in your corner, but you can understand why sometimes you feel like you need something different.
Yeah. Some fighters, they grow with change. Some fighters, you know, you need someone in your corner that you actually believe in 100%. And once you've lost that belief in your corner, man, it doesn't matter what happens. You've got to make the change. And I think that change for Joseph Parker shows in this part of his career. Because I think that win against Zhilei Zhang was a good win. he had to chop the tree down, get put down. He had to get in there and try and pickpocket him. And so at time he was in the danger zone, and he took risks that most people probably wouldn't take. So again, you can see it's about self-belief, growth, and believing in the people you're working with.
So, after Fury Usyk 2, Daniel Dubois got in the ring, grabbed the mic, and told Usyk, "I want you, I want my revenge," whilst having a fight scheduled with Joe Parker. That has been one of the stories heading into this fight. Is Daniel Dubois overlooking Joe Parker? What are we thinking?
Let's get it right. You know, that's not Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois will do what he does his told. Now, I believe his promoter, Frank Warner, would have nudged him, get up there, come on, make them see you, let them know that you're interested in a fight. And Daniel would have just got on with it. If it's down to Daniel to stay where he was, so yeah, you know, he doesn't need to do that. But he's just put himself in that path. Will that fight happen? Can that fight happen? I know Usyk's saying he's got 2 more fights left in his career.
He says he wants the winner.
It's on the table. It's on the table, but I think Usyk will pick what's best for him. And if Daniel Dubois is in that lineup, that's what he'll pick. But you've got to remember this. Usyk, whoever he's boxed once, boxed twice, the second time has always been easier than the first time, because once he's downloaded that blueprint of that fighter, he's got the number. Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, he'll do exactly the same with Daniel Dubois. It doesn't matter how much the kid's grown, because Usyk has shown that the guy's like a human computer. He's got his number.
That's a fascinating way of putting it. But I guess, look, is it an overlooking? Is it him being nudged, or is it a point to perhaps more media savvy, commercially savvy Daniel Dubois? Let's not forget, he was also calling out Jake Paul not so long ago after the Mike Tyson fight. Someone's probably telling him to do it, but he's getting in that kind of frame. He's getting in these conversations which get him more press, more attention.
He is, and he genuinely really does want to fight Usyk again. There's no question about that.
And probably Jake Paul too.
But I think with Dubois, his kind of mental makeup, his psychological makeup, I think he's a very linear thinker. The next thing is the next thing and the only thing in his brain. So I don't think he's really got it in him to be able to overlook someone. I think he's quite locked off, and you say to him, the next thing we're doing is this, and that is what he'll think about, and nothing else, until you almost tell him to think about something else.
It is an absolutely fascinating fight. Let's head back to Thomas Drive.
Anticipated main event is a rematch scheduled for 12 rounds, and it'll be for the undisputed light heavyweight championship of the world. Let's first welcome the challenger. His professional record, 23 wins, just 1 defeat, 12 wins, coming by way of knockout. He is the former unified light heavyweight champion of the world, Dmitry Bivol.
Well, this will be the first time since 2017 that Dmitry Bivol goes into a fight and he isn't a world champion. This is a new experience. The first time he goes into a fight having suffered a defeat. What will we see from this version of Dmitry Bivol?
I asked him today, actually, is it different training for a fight off the back of a defeat? And he basically just said no. He just said no, it's not a nice feeling. He didn't enjoy it, but he understands that it happens. But for him, the mindset, the focus, the discipline, the professionalism, the motivation is always exactly where it's been previously. I don't quite believe that. I think there will be more, because he wants to get revenge. He admits that he wants to get revenge, and he wants the title of undisputed. He was very, very close in the first fight. It was a razor-thin decision, razor-thin.
Well, it was certainly close the first time. He was also the first man to extend Artur Beterbiev the distance. Let's hear from the challenger, Dmitry Bivol.
Well, Dmitry, we're back here in Saudi Arabia. The first fight was very tough between you two guys. How many times did you watch that fight back?
Around 3-4 times.
What did you see when you watched it?
I saw good moments and bad moments.
It was incredibly competitive between you two guys. What do you have to do differently this time to get a win?
I just need to be better in all positions. I need to be faster, I need to be harder, smarter, everything better.
What did you learn from going 12 rounds with Artur Beterbiev the first time?
Not too much learned, but I learned about myself that I don't like to lose, and I need to push myself harder.
What does that look like? What does pushing yourself harder look like on Saturday?
It means more punches, and more endurance.
Good luck, Dmitry.
Yeah, thank you.
And now let's welcome the defending champion. He is a two-time Olympian, now undefeated as a professional with 21 wins. 20 of those 21 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the hard-hitting Ring Magazine champion and the reigning and defending undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world, Artur Beterbiev.
Well, here is the undefeated, undisputed world light heavyweight champion who says that he's not a good boxer. I think he's pretty good, Johnny. What do you think?
I think the devil's in the detail. That's what he says, but he is a very good fighter. And he'll draw the fighter out in you. He'll take you away from your game plan. That's what he's very good at doing. And you try and match him, you won't match him. He'll get the better of you. And Bivol has just said, you know what, I didn't learn anything about him. I learned a lot about myself, how I failed myself, what I should have done, I should have tried harder. You know, Bivol's a world-class fighter. That was #2 in the world officially right now. Now you're looking at #1 in the world. This guy knows what he's about. He knows what he's capable of doing. And he's a great thinking fighter.
Well, he's been a world champion since 2017, won that IBF belt, and then went belt collecting. Picked up the WBC from Alexander Gvozdyk, picked up the WBO from Joe Smith Jr., and in October last year, took on the WBA champ Dmitry Bivol, and after 12 hard-fought, close rounds, picked up his belt too. He's got them all. Look at that picture behind him. What a fighter, Andy.
He's scary, isn't he? When you look at him there in the hood, he's got an intensity about him. You just look into those eyes and you do not see anything, do you really? Nothing at all, and it's terrifying.
Just 133 days between these two fights. How do you feel going into this rematch?
Not bad, not bad.
What did you learn from the first fight against Dmitry?
You know, we learned some different things, like, you know, what we need to prove, what we need to correct, like, you know. We did some stuff about these things. We'll see.
You know, after the first fight, your trainer, Mark Ramsey, said, great job, but you can be better. You said you can be better. In what ways can you be better in this rematch?
There is many things, like many aspects I can prove myself, I think so. We'll see.
Are you expecting him to fight differently this time?
Yeah, I think they have some different strategy or something, yeah.
You just turned 40 years old, but you seem to get better as you get a little bit older. How do you explain that?
I think it's because it's experience, and, you know, to be in good shape a long time, I think it's helping for your body too.
Good luck, Artur.
Thank you.